Yeah. So,
well, if you want to, we're live. We're live.
Okay, we had one of our channels that had a problem. So sorry for the hiccup there. We're live at Q&A with Alan and Marshall. Happy Friday. Maybe we'll figure out how to work the technology one day.
We're so new. We're new at this. We don't know.
Yeah, right.
Anyways,
so, yeah.
You're Marshall Atkinson with Atkinson Consulting. I am Alan Howe with Easy Way.
Yeah, right. I forgot your name. So
we're all discombobulated on our way we do things. So we're sorry.
Right. That's the way it happens sometimes. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. It's Friday. We love that you're here. And please take a minute to say hello and let us know where you're watching from. And also don't forget that this is a Q&A show. And even though we've got some topics, the topics are really just to keep the conversation going. We want to help you with what you're struggling with. And that could be something with your decoration technique. It could be with your marketing or sales or employees or who knows, right? We want to help you. That's our goal. It's a Q&A show. So it works best with the Q part. That has to come from you.
We've got to have the Q part.
Yeah. And then the other thing we'd like you to do, if you could please share that you're watching. We're always trying to grow our show and get more viewers. So if you could just let everybody know that you're on here right now watching, that would be awesome. And what's the other thing I always talk about? Oh, yeah, if you're watching this as a recording, because I know a lot of people do that. A lot of people watch as a recording because sometimes you're busy doing things. Leave a comment or something and let us know that that's how you're reviewing, so we know that was that you were watching specifically and you found something valuable, or you had a question, one of the two, right? So
it's funny. I was with my nephew. I told you, Marshall, last night. My nephew Miguel, and he goes, "Yeah, I watched your podcast on replay and stuff on YouTube." He's actually just texted me how to get on. I just told him to go to your page on YouTube. But yeah, he watched replay. He doesn't understand it, but he had the coolest. He laughs because he had the coolest Rolling Stones shirt on. It was a very light print, and I'm looking and he goes, "You're checking it, aren't you?" I go, "Yeah," and I go, "Hold on," and I flip it up. I go, "Nice, not sent through." I just couldn't tell if it was water based or
was it just like really like based down, so it was like faded looking.
I'm thinking it's water based. It was almost too soft for even based down there, but it was a great Rolling Stone print. So but he was laughing that he laughs that I do that.
Well, I do that all the time too, and you know, you can get a plastisol print to feel just like water based.
Oh, absolutely.
Mixing it down and printing through high mesh, and you know, just
all and that. That's what I said. I would have to. He was wearing it, so I said I'd have to have the shirt off and do some stuff to check more, but I just couldn't tell. It was nice. So,
well, good. I do that all the time, also. So let's say hey to some folks. So Dan Campbell's watching. Hey Dan.
Hey Dan from Alabama.
Yeah, he is in Alabama. Ghost is here from Sweden. Yep. Uppsala. That's my favorite word, I think. Uppsala. Dan's watching.
From the UK.
You're still over the sea, right? Over in the.
He is.
In
that picture, go back to Dan's post. That picture, Dan was at a big silicone like symposium meeting in Europe. So be interesting in what he heard there. So.
Yeah, give us the report.
Yeah.
Sarah's here, watching from Minneapolis, Kansas.
Yep. How you doing, Sarah? Minneapolis, Kansas. Now, I have no idea where that would be in Kansas.
Yeah. Hurley's here. Good morning, guys.
Canada.
Yeah, I know a lot of people can't spell. And then Ray's here. Good morning.
From Oklahoma.
Yeah, right. So anyway, thanks for chiming in. Would love get some comments going later and everything. But I was traveling this week. You were traveling this week. We were both helping people get better. That's always the fun part, right?
Yep, absolutely. I was in Chicago, you know, doing auto reclaim things. Had a blue water that was installed last week. Was looking on that. There were M&R Ecotexes and
How many blue waters are out there floating around now?
I don't know. 15, 20. I don't know how many blue waters are out in the field. I can check. This is the first one in the Midwest.
She knows.
What's that?
I said Sarah's here now. Maybe she knows.
Sarah Bonnet, Brohammer is online. I don't know if you put that up here. So Sarah is great. She is the boss lady of Easy Way. Does a fantastic job of her and Alex of keeping everything going. I don't know. So Sarah, if you know, I don't know how many blue waters are in the field. A bunch.
Hold on. That just launched this year. Am I right?
Yes.
It wasn't last year. It's this year.
A little bit at the end of last year, but mostly just this year.
It's really 2022
Yeah.
when it came to market.
I'm gonna get. She's just posted said 10.
Okay.
But I know we have orders. Like everybody on a new startup company, you know, they actually went where we were not allowed to sell them for a long time. Like everybody, manufacturing, they didn't want to go. Yeah, new machine that'll be 200 weeks on it. So that we've really limited on sales. We're really watching it and trying to go slow and everything. And then like everything.
Weeks though, right?
You're not 20 weeks right now. But you know, still with supply chain, even they have done a great job, Easy Way, with as I've said, with raw materials and stuff. And they're doing the same thing for on the Blue Water side. I know the people in charge there are looking at, you know, always they don't want to have orders and not be able to get the materials to build things with.
Right. And to be clear, Blue Water is a separate company.
It is an extreme separate company. So I work for Easy Way. I don't work for Blue Water. There's a little, I don't even know what the connection crossover type thing is. It's out of my wheelhouse. And I'm at the age where if I don't need to know, I don't care. You know, you do not have to run Easy Way chemical in a Blue Water machine. If you buy one, it makes me sad, but yeah.
I'm sure Alan can help you work out that challenge.
Good. I'd be happy to help you and go, why would you not want to, though? This is more of an issue. Why would you not want to? But, you know, it is a complete separate company.
Right.
So,
yeah, Miguel's here. So
where?
Right there. I posted the thing. Hello, Alan. This is Miguel.
Oh, Puff Carrot. Miguel. What the heck is the deal with that? So Miguel is my nephew. Miguel, thank you. So Miguel's great. Miguel is going to be 15. He's 14. I'm going to talk him up a little bit. He does great in school. He's also been in the summertime with someone learning with an electrician, and he can do electric stuff. Kind of, but I mean, you can't at 14, but yeah. So he's pretty amazing.
So he's doing things, or he's just carrying the toolbox?
No, he's actually doing things.
Good.
And so his dad told me a while ago, he goes, Miguel can do a lot. So
yeah.
He also has a German Shepherd with a very vicious name, Noodles.
Oh, yeah. So this is what Dan just posted: the first ever textile print sustainability show hosted by ESME in Neuss, Germany. I'm sure I mispronounced that. Focused on sustainability and circular, a lot of digital printing, DTG, DTF, and some fabric supply chain. Not enough screen folks. Hope to see more this year. Well, probably if they let us know that was happening.
Yeah.
You can't have a secret conference.
Yeah, I didn't know about it until Dan went, so that would be cool. It would be interesting. So
yeah, love to do that. And so Gavin's here. Had a fantastic webinar yesterday with him, all about how to do better art instructions.
Yep. And where's Gavin out of again?
He's in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. He lives in Mexico.
Oh, okay. I thought he was in
South Florida, like Miami area, but he moved over. And who wouldn't want to live on the beach? I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Gavin, Marshall and I, are we going to do a Q&A from the beach there, from your house one day?
Yeah, we're all going down, right? So he basically lives in Cancun. So just so you know. That's what.
Yeah, exactly. Gavin, come on, bud.
Yeah.
Dude, would that not be cool?
It's a rough life there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then our good buddy Josh is here. Good to see you, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Can't wait to see you next week in Texas. So,
absolutely.
All right. So, what do you say? We pay some bills, run the commercial for GSG, and as always, we want to thank them for sponsoring us. And I got to find the right little thing here.
I had a great conversation with Mr. Mark Soldonic last night on my way home from Chicago and from GSG, and they're crushing it. So
good.
I'm so glad to partner with them.
Yeah, we are. So listen and see if you can dance to this rock tune.
GSG, the combination of over half a century of knowledge with industry-leading technology and the customer at the center of everything that we do. Graphic Solutions Group is a powerhouse distributor of traditional screen, sign, wide format digital printing, embroidery, and textile decorating. We are committed to our customers, providing support, educational, and consulting services. Your success is our success. We've seen these industries grow and change in our 70 years. One thing never changes: GSG's dedication providing the best products and services available. We've been around, we'll be around, from the highs and the lows, standing right here with you. GSG, the right products, right away.
You know what I like about that video is like it's a lot of trade show footage.
It's a lot of trade show footage. I didn't see us in it. Did you?
They don't want our ugly mugs in there. Come on.
It's bad enough their names above us, but yeah.
Come on. They're smart people. All right.
Absolutely.
You ready for our first topic there, Mr. Howe?
First of all, look here what Gavin said. He goes, let's do it.
Okay, great.
Let's plan it. I got to spend $8,000 on airline tickets this year to hit Diamond with Delta, so let's go.
Yeah?
Yep.
Great. Gusta says, did any of you ever do tampo prints?
Pad printing.
Pins and hard stuff. You're talking about
it's pad printing.
Pad printing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what it is in Sweden, right?
Yeah, well, Tampo Print here was actually a manufacturer of inks and pad printing equipment. I've never done a Ghost. I know a little bit about it. If you have the market, it can be very, very lucrative on there. And for people who don't know, pad printing, actually, you have a small plate with the ink on it. And a lot of the ink for that is very water based out. It's not even based out. It's thinned out because it's a solvent base screen printing ink, and it's very thin. And the pad comes, I can't do it without the pad comes and goes down, picks up the image, and then brings it onto the irregular surface like a golf ball and applies it.
Right.
And pad printing equipment can range anywhere from startup on there where it's manual to automatic, and it is a side of our business we don't talk about enough because there are just huge companies that do that.
Yeah.
I know Parent Screen does. They have 18 autos and they have a big pad printing operation. A lot of companies do.
Yeah, good. Awesome. So Ray says he likes the video. A lot of familiar faces. Yep. And he's done some. It's picking up for industrial. They also have UV pad print.
I was not aware of that. Thank you very much, Ray. So
yeah, well, great. So let's get to our first topic, shall we?
Shall we? Let's go.
Observation. It's the art of watching what's in front of you and paying attention.
Yep.
And I think, and the reason why I think this is important is because a lot of times we're so busy getting things done and we're moving that thing through the process and we're not really just stopping and looking as to what's really going on.
Yeah.
and observing how people really work. We assume they're using the right process or doing the right technique or whatever, but we're not really just, trust but verify watching them do that.
Yep.
And so I think this is a really important thing. And you actually had something that's sales, and I'm a process guy for production, but you have a sales observation comment on this also. So Alan, what is that?
Yeah, and and Marshall, you and I were talking about this as I brought it up, and how we come up with topics. Usually, everybody, as Marshall and I usually talk about our week a lot of times, unless we have a guest or something going on. And what have we seen? And this came up. On the screen side, I work for a manufacturer of Easyway, but I have worked for distributors, large ones like GSGs, medium-sized ones. And when you have a rep, and you can apply this to anything, whether you're an apparel salesman or you are with your customer, you have to be observant of what's going on in their world. So when I would work for a distributor and I was selling ink and emulsion and equipment and everything for screen printing and even some DTG stuff, and if you have embroidery, there's some other stuff. We always had, Marshall, what we called the big three. And that was ink, plasticell ink, some water-based, emulsion, chemical. Those are the big three. When I was earlier in my career, mesh was over emulsion, over ink. Mesh was over chemical at the time, but not anymore. And if you sell embroidery supplies, it's the big four, because embroidery is very stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of sales guys will look at those three. Some of them focus on just one or two. I don't include equipment, because equipment was always icing on the cake to me. And if you sold a press, great. You better get the supplies, because that's continuous money coming in. Right. But there was a situation I heard of, and I've seen it with salespeople where they're just not observing. A few years ago, when I worked for Easyway, I was with a distributor in Chicago. This had been 2001, 2000, around there. And we're in a shop, and we're walking through, and it's a shop. The guy, he goes, I can't get any traction. I'm not selling him ink. I'm not selling him.
21 years ago.
Yeah. I worked for Easyway before I did now. Yeah, I'm old. I mean, this is now from 1987 when I started. Yeah. But there's a sales guy there, and on this table is this quart of ChromaBlock red, which is Chromaline Blockout.
Yeah.
And I look, and I'm pointing at it, and look at the guy. He goes, yeah. I go, he goes, it's Blockout. I go, and I just look at him. I go, you sell that? Is that from you? He goes, no. You sell that. He was not picking up on it. And I'm like, man, you get in the door with the little stuff. Be observant. Yes, you may be selling them. You may be selling them shirts. You might be selling them, that's your big one. You might be doing embroidery for your customers. But have you looked at, Ghost had just asked about pad printing. You know what? Are they doing promo stuff? Because that's all promo stuff. That's how a lot of that's done. Golf balls, pins, stuff like that. When you do it on your own. Right now, we're in election, and we are in sports season. Who's doing yard signs? You don't have to do them, but that can be a profit center for you. And you've got to be observant on this stuff.
How do you remove a post?
What's that?
How do you remove a post? I forgot how to do that. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're absolutely right. You got to pay attention to what's going on.
And we get so busy of doing business, we forget to do business.
Right.
And that's observation. So I don't know. What do you think, Marshall? And if anybody has comments on that, Ray just had one right there.
Right. Yeah, observation is a huge part of why consultants can help you. Thank you, Ray. Third-person observation with a critical eye during any process can be revealing. I was in Dallas, Texas, doing all this. This is why this is the first comment today. I mean, post a topic today, because that's exactly what I was doing. And I take lots of notes. Like, I like to walk around with one of these, and I filled this whole thing up with suggestions and comments and discussion points that I was having with workers, and just really asking about what's going on. I took some pictures, took some videos, and I think a lot of times, the managers and the owners and the people running things, they're in their offices doing whatever they're doing, but they're not really looking and paying attention sometimes. And I think and if you just go to Gemba, right? Go to where the work is, observe what's going on, and just watch people work. Look at how they move. Look at the ergonomics. What if that table was just a little higher, or maybe you didn't stack the shirts up 5 feet above the cart so the short person didn't have to reach it, right? Had trouble reaching it, right? All that stuff really matters because it plays into how people work, the mistakes that we make, all that stuff, right? Hey, good comment, Eric. But hey, thanks for showing up, Eric. Appreciate you, dude.
Yeah, I think we got busy and forgot to say that that Eric was here. So yeah. Yeah, and Eric's watching on LinkedIn, so that's awesome.
Great, yeah. So we're trying to do different platforms, and so StreamYard only allows us to do 3. So I dumped posting this on Twitter because nobody ever watched on Twitter. Right. So now people are watching on LinkedIn, so that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. But Eric is exactly right on there. You have to stop and take stock as if you were an outside observer. It's huge. And, on the conversation I had this week was with a guy at a distributor, and he was talking about a junior salesman that he traveled with. He goes, this company has 10 automatics. They have over 100 heads of embroidery. He goes, this guy asked about thread. Well, okay, they're buying thread from the manufacturer direct. What about backing? What about bobbins? What about needles? I don't even know embroidery. Eric, what am I missing of the other things that people can use? These are all things, the small things. Bobbins aren't main, but I bet you have 100 heads. You're going through a lot of them.
Yeah.
You're going to need them. Needles are always there. There's different kinds, different sizes and stuff. Backing. What are you doing? That's how you get your foot in the door.
Yeah, right.
My first automatic sale, and this is the funny part, is the guy placed 4 orders with me, and it was in Akron, Ohio. It was called American Printwear, American Printwear, I think that's what it was, and because American Silkscreen's in Michigan, and his first 3 orders were of spatulas to me. His 4th order was a 10-color gauntlet.
That's a good 4th order.
Yeah, I loved it. It was the first automatic I ever sold back in 1988.
And so what was the 5th order?
Ink.
Yeah, for the press.
Yeah. But you know what I did? I was taught right. When it was being installed and time to be there, guess what I had with me? Gallon of white ink. Here, let's put this on.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So Eric says it's also good to go through your own process. If you are a customer in e-commerce, you have to do full test buys from order to getting the finished package. Where are you missing opportunities to market and serve your message? Where is the customer experience suffering? Exactly. So having a secret shopper sometimes really pays dividends.
Yeah.
And also, one of the things I've heard from people who do subscription services is to have, when you get signed up, you should do that also. And just in the pile is your order that goes to your house to see what day it's delivered, and do you get the Google review notice, and just you get everything you're supposed to be getting. And that's really a kind of a good thing to be doing. So great post, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Mike's here. Good to see you, Mike.
From California.
And happy Friday from New Bedford, Mass.
Shane, hope you're doing better every day. Great to have you. Marshall
just steered me away from spending a bunch of money on something that did create a much bigger advantage. having a third party look at these with me has been super helpful. Thanks.
Hey, Marshall, whoever your client was, you might want to steer them to sign into Facebook.
Yeah. So that, by the way, is here. So go to streamer.com/Facebook. I actually do this thing all the time, so I'm not sure who that was.
Yeah.
So I'm always talking about value and process and do you need it and whatever. So
Right.
I have that conversation constantly, so I'm not quite sure who that is. So
You know, the other thing we were talking about observations, the other part was so much e-commerce, and it's highly important. We talk about it all the time.
right.
But this is where sometimes Marshall face-to-face comes in, where you can observe if you go to your customer's place of business, if you can do that, set up lunch with them, and a lot of times you'll pick that more up face-to-face.
Well, we'll ask employees, ask your customers this one question. I do this all the time, which is if this, and just whatever object is on the table was the Aladdin genie lamp.
Yep.
And you rub the lamp and this blue genie popped out that sounds just like Robin Williams. And he said, hey, you get one wish to make your job or this place run better. What would you burn your wish on? It's such a fantastic thing because they're going to go to whatever they're constantly struggling with. And if let's say your shop has 20 employees or you've got 20 top customers, when you ask that and the same thing comes up 5 or 6 times, that's the thing that you work on first right there.
Yeah.
All of them are important, but the one that just repeatedly shows up really points you in the right direction as far as priority.
I do, because of the job I'm in, and when I work for a distributor, I would always say, what is your pie in the sky dream that you think is unattainable? Now, in today's market, I think they would say labor, and I would follow that with another question. Just don't go yes. Follow that with another question. What area?
Or tell me more or something like that.
Is it print? Is it reclaim? Is it that? So now you know where your pain points are at and where they're funneling to. So great discussion, great comments. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, and also another thing that works is, what is the ideal outcome?
Yeah.
Right. So if you're asking, what should it be, right? Have you guys even talked about that? Right. And we're doing observing, right? We're observing what we're doing, right? But what should be the utopia? What should really be happening? Have you even had that discussion?
Yep.
So,
and then you can always say, if you can wave if you can wave a magic wand over it, what does that look like?
Yeah, abracadabra.
Yep.
All right, good stuff. Keep the comments coming.
Great stuff. Yeah.
We can switch to the next topic, which is good segue here, which is simplifying your process.
Yep.
And I was just talking about this yesterday with somebody, and I call it you need to do a Chick-fil-A. Okay.
I like that. Yeah.
If you've been into a Chick-fil-A drive-through, you know what I'm talking about, because they are oh so efficient and just really nice and friendly, and everything works the way it's supposed to work. You don't have to like their food, right? But you should go through a Chick-fil-A at rush hour lunch when this building is wrapped, not when there's nobody there, but when it's wrapped around the building twice, and you still get through that line in 10 minutes.
Faster than any other fast food restaurant. Yeah.
It's just incredible. How do they do it? They have a process down, and part of the way they do it is the fact that they have simplified their menu. There's only, they're not offering pizza. They're not offering wings. They're not offering a million things. It's just a simplified thing. And that allows them to scale and move product faster. And I'm all the time hearing from people about how they're backlogged. They can't, we're 3 weeks out with our schedule and all this kind of stuff. And it's can you just simplify this? And I was talking with somebody a couple of weeks ago, and we found a website that only does one color shirts.
Right.
That's it. They only do one colors. And I thought, man, that's just genius. Let everybody else do the 2 colors. We're only doing 1 colors. and how much faster that must be in their process. I just kind of really love that. And think about on your equipment, right? How much are you making per hour? And what if you simplified it so you could get more run through with your equipment per hour?
Absolutely.
Just by simplifying it by doing one colors, and that's all you do. I thought that was just a really great idea. So what about for you, Alan? What should we be thinking about when we're simplifying processes to get better yield?
Yeah. So in my world, simplifying process is always about same thing. It's all about throughput. So I live more in the reclaim area of screen shops now. So in that reclaim, which is always the least thought of, but that's where your bottleneck is. So how many screens can you throughput so that they're reusable again? And you can either do that by a different process. I'm always about, now I was with our good friend Ruben and we're talking about, we simplify this process just by less steps and less chemical now used. And he asked me, do I need to go to a dip tank? I go, do you want to go to a dip tank? You don't have to. He's using just a regular manual method, and that's fine. Yeah. It's working for him. I said, now you're using less chemical and less steps. Your throughput will be better. So you have to look at it in a couple different ways, but you always have to go and look for that bottleneck of where it's at and going, what can I do? And get some outside eyes. We're back to observation. What's your outside eyes, on there?
Think about how much using screen opener affects your screen room. Look at Alan's face. Look at Alan's face.
God almighty. The bane of my existence.
And so we use the press operators, like they love that can of screen opener. Like
they're huffing it. Yeah.
It makes their life so much easier. But you know what? They're not the folks in the screen room.
Yeah. So, when you're using screen opener and things like that, and right now, I see more of it. When I go to Arizona and our distributor there, I have more success switching people from screen opener to an on-press product than anywhere else in the country. And I do not know why. They are like they all use it and they're wanting to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, and it's so much fun because you show them the right way and then you show them the savings. It's like, I want it. Give me a truckload. Fine. One tote that'll last you 700 years.
Yeah.
And it's that, because one change in process can cost you, by doing it wrong, 1,000 other steps and more money down the drain and less profit.
Yeah. Right. This is how, if you look at your process, look upstream and downstream from where you are, and some of those decisions affect what happens somewhere else, but you don't work there.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe you don't know what happens. Like, so if you want to print faster, sometimes the art has to be designed differently.
Yep.
And we do a lot of things in production to prevent, because there's actually ways that you should be using it. And if you're outside of that norm, right, you could be getting an unintended result just because, your dryer's cranked up to 450. I mean, who knows, right? Yep. So Dan's got a good comment here. Ink don't think, but does change over time. Storage conditions, shop conditions. Bring this back to the first topic, and documenting the date, conditions, batch numbers, etc., can really help problem solving. Oh, good point.
Yep, absolutely.
That's why we have smart people watch this.
Yep, absolutely.
So, good point, Dan. Love that, right? And then Ray says, testing and measuring is what tells you what ink is best for your process.
In both in Dan and Ray's, wheelhouse where they live at, those spheres, the answer, Terry, is 3. I'm kidding. So, especially in the electronics end, you've got to have, you don't even do electronic printing or industrial printing without having your process down, because the ink is so expensive. When you're using a electronic conductive ink, that stuff is can be anywhere from cheap ink is $400, and we're talking ounces of it, a few ounces, as opposed to some that are in the thousands of dollars. You do not want to waste it. So you have to have your processes down before even doing that. Same thing in silicone. We know silicone for athletic here in this, but silicone is always. I'm sorry.
Quit reading the comments, Alan.
I know, but silicone, is used in so much other stuff in the medical, fabric medical end of it too, where Dan lives, and you've got to have your processes down before you even think about the ink.
Right. So Miguel, Alan's nephew's back.
Well, I texted him and I said, no, it's on your end. Refresh it. It's still going.
Yeah. And Ray says, very good. I also use an ink in ambient conditions, temps and humidity that have changed from when we first used it, changes the ink.
Yep.
The first ink I did 20 years ago is still selling for $75 for 20 grams. Wow.
Well, believe me, before you reclaim that screen, you are scraping every bit of ink off of it.
Yeah, your average conductive ink is $1,000 to $1,200 a kilo. A kilo is about a pint.
Yeah. So this is where, in the textile field, where we think ink is expensive. Guys like this, when they read that, they're laughing. When you put a post of how expensive things have gotten, Ray and Dan laugh at that for glass of salt. But they also know too, what you want to save money on ink you're using? Tension will save you 15% on ink yield.
That's like a Geico commercial.
It is. But it is. Tension will save you money. Sharp squeegees will save you money. Proper flashing will save you money. And you will print faster and better. So, yeah.
Yeah, mesh selection, right?
Will save you money. Yeah.
You don't have to run everything on a 110.
Absolutely.
So.
You actually should not run anything on a 110, hardly. Our friend Jeff Proctor, I will quote him always, 110 mesh, the Model A of screen printing.
Right. All right, so let's wind it up here.
Also, too, let me throw this on ink. Don't think. Here's the other thing. If you're saying it builds up, it doesn't shear, it's not covering, it's not smooth, that's not the ink. That's all you, baby. That's all on you.
Right. Just go to any Facebook group and have them start talking about ink. Right.
And unfortunately, you go to a show, you talk in a Facebook group, and they never try to handle the problem. It's always, I use this, I use that, I do this, I use that. No one cares. It's not about the ink. Ink don't think.
Right. So
on that.
Yeah. So next week I'll be in Texas at the Fort Worth show, and you'll still be in Michigan, and
I'll be here in Michigan.
We'll be running the show from my hotel room, and but we'll be talking about everything that's going on, and don't forget we also have Printing United coming up in October.
I'll be there.
We're going to have Josh Caruth on
next week.
Not next week, is it? Next week? Is next week's the 7th?
I don't know. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. Anyway, so we'll be talking about that show, which is in Vegas, and very excited about both of those shows. I think it's going to be a really great to see everybody and talk shop and that stuff. So if you're going to be in Fort Worth, I'm teaching 2 classes. I've got a class on how to write a business plan, and I have a class on how to do employee performance reviews. Right. Both are critical to running your business better. So please sign up. I'll be around doing stuff. Probably going to hit the Made Lab party Friday night for a little bit, and then I might be going out to dinner after that. But we'd love to see you there. So make plans. Email me if you want to know what I'm doing or where I'm at. Would love to hook up with you and all that kind of stuff.
GSG is going to have a huge booth, I know, at Fort Worth and at Printing United. And Marshall, you and I are both going to be there. So yeah, let us know if you're going. You know, I am mildly excited about Printing United. You know, I was actually talking to Josh yesterday. They have 20 apparel vendors at Printing United this year. I think that's what they said. Over 20 apparel vendors. I don't think they've ever had 20 vendors at Printing United, apparel vendors ever. There.
That's amazing.
Yeah. You know, I know M&R is going to be there, Rock's going to be there, everybody's going to be there, GSG in a big way.
And consumable folks to be there.
All the consumable, Easyway will be there. You know, they'll be inducting new Academy members. No, I don't know who they are. I don't think you know either. We voted, but yeah, a lot going on. So yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I'm going to disagree with that last one. Who is that?
I don't know. What is it? Oh, 110 TT mesh is great for youth taller designs. We want to use a top white athletic prints too. Why not use a higher mesh so you don't put less ink down?
You might want to on an underbase for athletic prints, but for youth toddler, that's going to be so heavy. On a youth toddler onesies and stuff like that, why don't you go 135, 120 with or 135, 156 with proper tension and get the same coverage with less on there, less ink. So I'm going to disagree. Athletics a whole different. If you want that heavy glossy, they might, but yeah. And
then you know you can use Top Score or something for that.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? Then too, you could also go 110. You could go 125 and maybe achieve the same thing, save a little money on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not a huge 110 fan. I usually just don't go. No, I'm going to disagree with that. I'm not saying 110 is obsolete. You do want to have a few of them, but yeah, I think there's always better if you have your processes in there. So yeah.
All right, and Terry says, "Have a great weekend." Thanks, Terry.
Yep.
Sarah says it'll be so great to attend Printing United after the past couple of years. Totally agree with that.
Sarah is going to be at the Easyway booth. We will there and stop by, say hi to her if you're going to be there. She's the boss. So and Sarah works. I believe Sarah, you're still on some committees with SGIA. So I know the Women in Print have stuff, and Sarah has been active in that.
Yeah,
so most of us at Easyway, we do support a lot of things and working not just about the chemical. So make sure
you guys sponsor Shirt Lab, and I'm so thankful for that.
We do sponsor Shirt Lab. We sponsor a lot of things. I'm glad that they watch this show. I'm glad they allow me to do that. You know, when we started and GSA wanted to sponsor it, I talked to them first. I never want to have a conflict, and I appreciate your guys' support. And so stop by, say hey to everybody. And you know, Marshall, how much for us fun is it? How many people have we met from just doing a podcast or your success stories that we've never met before that listen?
It's the best.
It is. It is
connecting with people, and what's fun is they'll hear me and go, "I know that voice."
Yeah. Or though I've had people come up to me and go, "Yeah, I saw you, and it's just you were talking to people. I didn't want to come." You know, I go, "Why?" Well, you were talking to, and you're Alan Howe. Yeah, and they go, "I'm just glad to meet you," and I'm sure they're pretty underwhelmed. Yeah, Marshall. I love meeting people. So if you see me, I know Marshall, you're the same way. Yeah, just come up to us, introduce yourself. We love it. So
yeah, and here's the number one comment when they meet me. It's like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were so tall."
Marshall, so I'm almost 6'3", and I've been, my boss Alex just said, "Yeah, you should be, I am big. I'm a little bit heavy, but not that." He goes, "No, you just command a room." Marshall's taller than I am. How tall are you, Marshall? 6'1"?
Well, I used to be 6'5", but I've shrunk because I'm close to 60 years old now. So
yeah.
I'm like 6'4.5" or something like that.
Yeah, I was close to 6'3".
They compact.
Yeah. Right? When you're this size, I said, yeah, man, our disc just over the years. So I was closer to 6'3", and I'm a little bit more closer to 6'2" now. But together, we're kind of hard to miss.
Yeah. And it's not like we're quiet people either. We're very loud.
I'm very ninja-like. Not. So.
All right. Well, hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. And if you're watching this as a recording, we really appreciate you also. I know a lot of people watch the recording, so thank you. And then, or listen to our the audio on our podcast.
Yep.
So thank you so much for that. And
we forgot to say share it too. Share this with people.
Yeah. Please share. Love it. All right. Have a great weekend.
Yep.
See you guys next week.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.